This is not the first time that I've been to the Knesset. I've been here on many occasions throughout my career as a rabbi, and most recently in the last 8 years as the Mankal of Tenuah Conservativi B'Tzafon America. But this time, I got to tell you, it's different. This time, I'm here because it's important that all of you in leadership positions within the State of Israel, within the Knesset, it is important that you understand the very precarious place that we find Klal Yisrael today. We are on the edge. We're on the edge of a very real, very serious, very harmful distancing between Israeli Jewry and diaspora Jewry. On June 25th, it wasn't enough for the government of Prime Minister Netanyahu to just cancel the Kotel agreement. And it is a cancellation. It is not a freeze. On the very same day, the Ministerial Committee of Legislation approved as well the Shas conversion law. Any one of these governmental actions alone would have been enough to have angered the diaspora Jewish community. But both of them together, the only way that we, Chutz La'aretz, could possibly have understood what was happening here in Israel is that we were being sent a message not only of disrespect, but more importantly of delegitimization of Klal Yisrael. These feelings go beyond the intellectual. We have to understand there is a very powerful emotional basis to this. Because if we are Am Yisrael, if we really are Mishpacha, if we want to behave that in a way that Klal Yisrael is more than just an intellectual, philosophical concept, but something very real upon which we rely, if we are family, then you need to know that the actions of the government in the last couple of weeks feel like a betrayal. And that betrayal feels like abandonment. You have to understand, you just have to understand that we live in a world in which almost 90% of the Jewish people are found in Israel and in North America. 90%. There has never been a moment in history in which our people have been concentrated in two main geographical, cultural areas. That means that the future of Klal Yisrael is absolutely dependent upon the success of both communities and on their ability to be successful together and to build bridges rather than wedges. One cannot thrive without the other. And we know this. Israel has reached this moment in history in large part because of the commitments of North American Jewry to the Jewish state. We've lobbied our governments for recognition and support, political, economic, strategic. We're on the front lines of BDS and against those who would delegitimize Israel, especially at the United Nations. We've invested billions of dollars in Israel's infrastructure. We've contributed billions of dollars of tzedakah. We support Aliyah. We send our children as lone soldiers. We visit en masse every year through Birthright, Maccabiyah, congregational trips, and more. And we have benefited from that investment. Israel has become, according to the Chazon of the founders, Israel has become the anchor of the Jewish world globally. We learn Torah here and are inspired to learn Torah in our own homes. We discover our Jewish identity here, and those whose identity is already known, it is deepened. But we don't support Israel because there is benefit. We don't support Israel because we get something out of it directly. We support Israel because we're Zionists. We share the vision of a nation-state of the Jewish people, Lihiyot Am Choshi Be'artzenu. And an essential element of that vision, a key ingredient of what it means to be a free people in our land, is for all of our religious expressions that give meaning to our Jewish identities and lead us to be Zionists are respected and supported in our Jewish homeland by its government. The Kotel agreement, for the first time in our relationship, gave us a real sense of optimism that we were on the cusp of achieving that goal. And today, we feel betrayed. Not just because that optimism was crushed, but also because bills like the conversion bill negatively diminish not only our standing, but those of others. And if you think the Rabbanut will stop with just controlling conversions in Israel, take a look at the recent news of the blacklist of rabbis that include prominent American Orthodox rabbis. Mitzvah me goreret mitzvah, v'gam avera goreret avera. Valuing Klal Yisrael, working for it, fighting for it, is not simply for any particular Eida's benefit. It is for the benefit of the whole, of the Klal. Klal Yisrael is a vision of unity without unanimity. The Kotel was a perfect example. Don't take away from the Haredim or the Dati'im in the Northern Plaza. Let's expand the notion of the Kotel, expand the space physically and spiritually, and make a place for all. There is surely space enough. On the issues of religious pluralism in the Jewish state, you need to know that much of American Jewry has lost its patience. And that's why you've seen the very strong response that we're seeing now from leadership in all corners. It is no longer acceptable to simply claim that it is the Jewish homeland, that Israel is the Jewish homeland, without it actually being the homeland for all the Jews. Now is the time, therefore, for us to work together to make real progress on these issues, to expand the Kotel as the holiest site of Judaism for all Eidot to worship according to their custom, to ensure that Israel's laws impacting who is a Jew take into account Klal Yisrael as they're being formulated, to open Israel's religious establishment to the authenticity and dynamism of modern Judaism in all of its expressions. You in the Knesset represent not only the parliament of the state of Israel, the Jewish state, but if you rise to the occasion, you can also become the parliament of the Jewish people. I'm here to ask you to rise. Let's rise together. We are a people that have accomplished more than any other people on the face of humanity. We're sitting here in the parliament of the Jewish people after 70 years of the reestablishment of Jewish sovereignty in the Jewish state, after 2,000 years of exile. There is no other people, there is no other civilization in history that can lay claim to such a feat. If we can do that, we can certainly do this. Toda rabah.